Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Joshua Suliruka here, your host of the Impact Podcast Show. And we have another podcast episode running. I'm pretty keen and excited. We have a special guest that has really helped me out during the junior ranks when I was young. But we'll touch on him in a few minutes. But before I do start, I just want to share a bit about on our mission. Our mission is simple. All we're focusing on is the one, and focus on impacting one people at a time. So I just wanted to share that. That's something that I really want to drill in. I feel like repetition is something that can help us out. So I just wanted to share a bit on that. So I want to welcome everyone that is listening, those that are watching on YouTube. I want to give a massive shout out to all those that are listening, whether you're in the car or you're just eating breakfast. I want to give a massive shout out to you, and just want to let you guys know, follow us on Instagram, and that's our main platform. We've got Facebook and Twitter, but yeah, just follow us on Instagram, and that would be cool. So we're gonna start now. We're gonna get straight into it. So I just want to introduce to you guys Emile Isaac, aka Milzy.
How you going, mate?
I'm good, man. How you going?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Nah, bro. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I'm so keen, man. How you feeling?
I'm all right. I'm good. Mate, I haven't seen you for a while. Since the Harold Matthews days?
Yeah,
Parramatta.
Yes.
Good old days, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I've been good, Josh. Married man now. You know that. I've got 4 kids. So yeah, still ignite boxing on the side.
Yeah. Come
So
on.
yeah, going pretty good, man. Going pretty good.
No, it's good. It's good. Before I do start, asking some questions, I want to shoot you guys briefly on how I, just on the background, bit of context on, first of all, why I brought Milzy on board into the podcast show, and also how I actually met up with him. So a couple of years back, it's probably 2013, I was fortunate enough to be chosen into the Harold Matthews squad, Parramatta, for the Parramatta Eels. And Milzy was one of the strength and conditioning coach over there. So I met him through there. He helped me out a lot. He pushed me. He pushed me, like a lot further than I thought. And he really supported me, like especially in my first year of Harold Maths. And then I was fortunate enough to do another year. I was able to play the 2014 season for Para, and I was also able to captain that side. So that's pretty much how I knew Milzy, and there's a lot of value that he's brought into my life that I still hold dearly when it comes to training, but not just training, but just personal development. And so I'm pretty keen and excited to get a hold of Milzy, because he has a story that he's going to touch base on later on that I truly believe will help everyone out there, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're sick, or whether you're poor. I truly believe it's going to help people out, and Milzy knows that too. So we're both on the same page.
Let's hope it does, mate.
It's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. So with that being said, Milzy, can you share to us a bit about who you are to those that are watching?
Well, my name's Emile, so everyone knows me as Milzy. I've got a pretty passionate background in strength and conditioning, in fitness. When I first started, I was actually a truck driver. Would you believe it? So I followed my dad's footsteps and my uncle. So we bought a truck and drove. And within that time, and I was always passionate about rugby league and fitness. So during that time, mate, I was just I was studying and working. So at the AIF, Australian Institute of Fitness, it sort of led me into the strength and conditioning background, which obviously led me into the rugby league scene, which is where I wanted to end up. So I got my break. I think it was about 2000, just before the Harold Mats, where I met you. It was the West Sydney Academy up at Penrith. So we were the feeder club. Remember, your brother was there. So we were the feeder club that fed Parramatta Eels and Penrith, all the up-and-coming young talent. And if they were good enough, they'll be pushed in. Like I can tell you now from the West Sydney Academy, a Jerome Lulai, who's the 5'8" for Penrith. He was with us, and he didn't have a hope in hell, they reckon, but he's the 5'8" for the Penrith Panthers now.
Yeah, man.
Anthony Layoun, you remember Anthony Layoun? Yes. He played for Lebanon. So that's where it all started with me, and it was an absolute privilege, because I was driving from Marylands to Penrith 3 days a week to train these kids, and we play in the Harold Mats comp against you blokes, Para, Penrith, St George, just to get 1 or 2 guys through the system. And that's where I fell in love with it, man, to be honest with you, the whole strength and conditioning game. And it led me into other pastures, which we'll talk about later. Yeah.
Nah,
So
man,
that's
that's
me.
pretty good, man. That's pretty good, man. And I actually didn't know that you were in the Western Academy, like Western Sydney Academy.
Yeah, that's where it started, mate. That's where it
That's
started.
crazy.
Your brother was one of the wingers there.
Yeah, he was. He was like a skinny ass. Like, he was like this.
Lightning, and about 6'4" at like 15 years old.
No,
I kid you
legit.
not. I thought, wow, look at the size of this kid. So with those kids at the West Sydney Academy, look, they all had talent. It was just about getting their mindset right. That it's all right that Parra or Penrith dropped you for a year back just to get your game. It doesn't mean you can't challenge again. And Jerome Lulai was the perfect example. So he stuck with his guns. Mm-hmm. He moved forward, made his Penrith debut for Matt's ball 20, and now he's taken over James Maloney now as we speak. So he's clear. He's 5'8", so which is it's a good learning curve for these young fellas.
No, legit. And I like, that's something that, like, I love, like talking about and just having conversations about, looking at people that started like at the, trenches. They started, they played in second tier competitions or second tier teams, and then they're able to make NRL sides. Like, I think a good person that, it's like one of my favorite NRL players of the whole career is Nathan Homarsh. Like, he's Heine, man. Like, he was like my all-time like favorite athlete in the rugby league scene, because like he didn't play any reps, and then he was able to play. I'm pretty sure. If correct me if I'm wrong, he played flag. Did he play flag at all?
Is that Nathan Homarsh?
Yeah. Or did
I'm not sure about, but look back on Nathan Homarsh. That's a great point about.
Yeah.
If you're from the outside looking in, and you look at a guy like Nathan Homarsh coming into a system, you think, is this guy seriously going to, like, the long hair, the sloppy look? Is this guy going to really crack the NRL? Like, seriously, they put more of a higher price on his brother Ian compared to Nathan.
Yes, I remember that.
Look what Nathan achieved. So he had his work ethic. Mm-hmm. He had his disciplines off the field. Even though it doesn't look like it, but to play over 300 games for Parramatta in that era, what does that tell you?
No, legit.
It was all, and he was the most workaholic forward I probably have seen since Bradley Clyde. Like, he'd make all his tackles, he'd do all that. He's always there. He's always chasing down balls, chasing down people. So, it really doesn't matter the look. It's what you put in. It doesn't matter what you look like. And that's what I like to tell people that I've trained, whether you want to I've been a part of a swimming academy for the last probably year and a half, but we've slowed down a bit because of what's happened. And you're coaching kids that are like from 5 years old to 12 up until 15, trying to make some sort of Commonwealth Games or reps or New South Wales. And these kids are there twice a day from 4 a.m. They swim for 2 hours. They go to school and so on. Afternoon swim, and their parents are in the stands. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. Discipline, hard work. There's no secrets. There's none of it. There's no secrets. It's all there. If you've got discipline, hard work, ethic, sacrifice is huge. To sacrifice things, you can go a long way. And that's what Nathan Homarsh had. And look at his career. It's just blossomed from his success. So he's on TV now. He's on Fox. He's one of my favourites, to be honest, as in work ethic. Like, look at him. There's nothing much of him, but wow, who can do what he does? Yeah,
legit. I love it. I love how you shared that. And speaking of top players, I'm aware that you have a tight relationship with Robbie Farah.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a bit about that?
Yeah, Robbie. Jeez. Oh man, every time I think of that bloke, man, I just shake my head.
Yeah.
Look, forget about the whole. He's Lebanese and I'm Lebanese, and I met him about 5 or 6 years ago through a friend who knew him before me. And it happened, he was at his house, blah, blah, blah. He gave me a call. He goes, hey, come down, man. Your favourite player's here. And I followed Robbie's career before I knew him anyway. So as a West Tiger nut that I am, I followed his career at a young age, and I just love the way he's smarts about the game. The way he dictated himself at training amongst his teammates, and how he got, put forwards on the ball. So I love that kind of hooker. I've always had that kind of hooker love, that footy player brain. Anyway, we met at my mate's house, and it was just from that day on. It was just mutual respect, man. Like, I can't explain it. I have your back. He has mine. The not to dwell on anything. It's just that we've become very good friends, man, off the field. Like it's like a brother thing now, you know. And I just remember, I want to ask you something. I'll tell everyone this.
Yep.
How do you play 300 games in the forwards if you haven't got what he has? And I'll tell you what he's got. Firstly, professionalism.
Yep.
That is massive in an athlete coming through. And you know what that means? It means you've got to be there first. You've got to leave last. You've got to work on your game. The coach tells you something, you've got to work on it. You can't just put it, whatever, see you at training. No, if he gives you something you work on, that's what Robbie does. His short kicking game just didn't snap from near the line. He worked on that. That's professionalism.
Yeah.
Discipline, his food, his body in the forwards. He's got to play 80 minutes, Josh. 80 minutes.
80 minutes,
rugby.
man.
And you know how hard was it? Yeah. How hard was it for you in playing 70 minutes at Harold Matthews?
No, legit.
And he's playing in the forwards in the toughest comp in the world. So discipline.
Yeah.
Okay. His body's got to be on. His nutrition's got to be on. Training is huge. That's what we don't see. You've been there in a small part of junior, but this is professional. You're getting paid for this. So at training, think about this. If he doesn't put in all the hard work in his weights, how does he get big? His conditioning, those conditioning drills we used to, the conditioning games to get fit and tighten up the middle. If you're not disciplined in that, there's no chance you play 300 games, let alone 10 games.
100, bro.
So this is just a few insights. And Robbie became more of a footy player for me. Like he became sort of a guy I can talk to as well with my training at Ignite. If I had a few questions, I'd ask him about what do you reckon this will work for my clients and is a bit more over the top. He'd give me an honest answer. He always has an honest answer. He doesn't take you for a ride. Yeah, it'll work. It might not work. Champion bloke, man. Like absolutely champion. And just recently, what he's done for me with this whole thing that I'm going through, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Has been amazing, man. I can't thank him enough, as well as I can't thank all my family and friends enough. Like this is where you need them, bro. And they've all stood tall. And I've messaged them. I'll keep. I'm only started my journey, so I'll keep thanking them as we go. Yeah,
it's good, man. It's good. And so, with that being said, like let's get straight into it, man. Like I'm keen to explore some of the some topics that I'm passionate about growth. I'm passionate about self-development, and not just within the physicality of going to the gym and making sure I'm like the best athlete that I can be, but more so mentally. Like I've just been realizing over the past few years how important mental strength, willpower, and habits, building habits. Like I'm starting to realize now that if I didn't learn it, especially Harold Matthews for me was like that was a pinnacle moment of me going, okay, I'm here, I need to step it up a notch. Like that was I would say the bread and butter for me. Like if I didn't do Harold Matthews, I don't reckon I'd be where I'm at now, based on the standards that I had to live by, like everything, man. And so we're gonna talk about first. I want to touch base on Ignite boxing, which is something that you started like a long time ago, I'm guessing.
Ignite boxing for me started in 2007.
Yep.
And right up until 2017, I think approximately that time. And Josh, there was no secret behind it. All I was is I started it at a park at Granville. So Granville Park was next to my house. I had literally, 4 clients. And those 4 clients, guess who they were? They were all family.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
I made some shirts up. I took my ute, got some boxing gloves, some pads, and away I went. And this was after work. It wasn't my full-time job.
Wow.
So I'd drive a truck, come home, put the bread on the table, and go get my family and all my sisters and my cousins down the road. Let's go try some boxing and let's try to get fit. And that's all it was, really. Then what's funny, people start seeing that in the, just normal local people walking in the park and what's going on here? And I had little cards and pamphlets, and they take them, and the following day another 2 would rock up. Yo. And then I just for free, let's go, let's box, let's get fit, and then so on, and then snowball effect. Then I thought, you know what? I better start looking around because it was outdoors, raining. You don't want to always cancel on these people. So I had to start looking around for a massive sort of, a scout room, scout hall, something. And that eventually happened a year later where I did it at a local walls, one of our local communities down the road on Blacksville Street, Granville. Thank them for that. The KEM Hall, I'm a part of them, never forget them, never will. And then it just blossomed. I'm talking, I was doing 3 sessions a week, 20 plus people. So it became more than just boxing fitness, it became, all round fitness. Local people, no athletes, people just wanted to talk. And this is back to your point about mental toughness.
Yeah.
Josh, when you become a trainer, especially at Ignite, you become, you've got to be careful about this, you become a psychologist in a way where people have different stories to tell you about their life. It doesn't become about training anymore. Some people suffer from things that, like, you think far out. It's not just weight loss they want. They want stamina. They want self-belief. They want to be recognised by even someone like their loved one, for example. So I was a trainer trying to deal with that.
Yeah, right.
And I couldn't cross the line because I wasn't qualified to tell them, yes, you should do that. I had to just give them an insight of just be a bit mental. Mental toughness goes a long way. Mm-hmm. Training can help you achieve that. You want self-esteem, drop 10 kilos and maybe your loved one will think, okay, well, look at the effort she's making. It will gel together one day. And that was the biggest challenge for me, Mike, is knowing my place. Yeah. I'm a trainer, I'm a coach to coach you in boxing, fitness, health. And that was the most and that's what made me fall in love with it even more, to be honest with you, is hearing people's hearing the stories I have to share to you. And this is like behind closed doors. So Ignite Boxing was one hell of a journey. And then I opened up a gym down the road. It was about before I put it away, about 3 years of it. So it was pretty good. And to be honest, it wasn't that I fell out of it, out of love with training and that. It was more like, 10 plus years for me in that game. My kids were young. They were all grown. I barely saw my kids because it was morning training, midday, and your biggest is night training. You got to be there from 5 right up until about 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. And I have to get up in the morning and go again. So, 10 plus years, I was pretty happy, pretty proud. It's still going. I still do people on the side. They still ring. We still go do our sessions when they want me to. Yeah. I don't think I can ever die, I'll be honest with you, because I've still got those clients always call you back. The ones that always started call you back. Yeah. Because it's not that you're the best or the best of the best. It's more like they're comfortable with you. Yeah. I'll tell you something, Josh. I tell all trainers this. We all follow a book. Mm-hmm. We all study the same book. Yeah. It's how you get out your training. It's how you communicate. It's how you make people listen. And if you're good enough, they'll want you back all the time because you're adapting to them and you connect with them. That's it. Yeah.
No, it's really good, man. Stuff. I love how you shared about, where Ignite Boxing. I love how you shared about how it started and, some of the challenges. Starting it, even just like the longevity. Like one of the things I've learned is that you can be a person that can run a business for 1 year, but it's a totally different story if you're running it for like 3 decades. Like there's so many things that you're gonna be in play, and I've learned, and I'm only 22 years old, and I've learned so much on like starting something and looking at the longevity. Like don't just look at it as a like a 1 year thing. Like you got to think about it like a lifetime, or even start small as like 5 years. And I feel like that's something that you've done. If
I had my time back, Josh, I'll be honest with you, and you make a great point about the longevity of a business, especially in fitness, because fitness, you're relying on clients to make your business. Yeah. You can get as much equipment as you want and deck out a gym, but at the end of the day, if there's no one's paying, or as in what I mean by that, if you can't get clients in the door, it ain't worth it. So the problem, I think, and what I've learned, if I had a better managing skill, or I did a course, or I probably brought someone in the managing side of the business, it would have went, I think, a lot further than relaxing me. Because you end up being a trainer, manager, owner. It just drills you. And you got to see, my wife, she had 4 young kids, and it wasn't easy for her, for me to call her and say, she was, feeding the kids, looking after the kids, and so on. And are you married yet, Josh? So
no.
Are you married or?
I'm all good.
Are you all good?
Yeah, I'm all good.
You'll understand. It's very hard to have. It's very, very different. So in respect to all that, I've learnt that, you can't do everything in a business. You can't run the whole thing on your own. It will just burn you out. But I did 10 years of it, so I can say I'm proud, and I've learnt, so nothing phases me. So you can't call that a failure. You call that learning.
Yeah. It's all learning curves. I think a lot of people see it as like if they fail at something, they look at it as a loss. But for me, everything that I do is all based on learning. It's always a learning curve.
Of course.
Yeah, but like in saying that, I wanted to just chuck in a random question and ask you, man, what was like your favorite memory? What was your favorite memory of being a trainer?
I looked some photos the other day, just random photos of Ignite back in the days, and there was one particular moment. I had a guy down the road. He was in a wheelchair. His name was Elias.
Yep.
And I hope they hear this story. That was the most challenging 12-week and what I mean by challenging, as in it showed a side of me that I've not had.
Yeah, wow.
I had to train a guy in a wheelchair who suffered from his literally blind from here, paralysed all the way. I think it was spinia fibia. I can't remember the name of it, honestly. But he was literally paralysed. He's been paralysed for 30-plus years in his life in a wheelchair. And he wanted to lose 5 to 10 kilos.
Yeah.
And me and my trainer said, we're going to take this challenge on, and if we drop 5 kilos, that's going to be a victory. And don't forget, he can't use his legs. He can't use much but the wheelchair. He can't even get out of the wheelchair. So we put this program in for 12 weeks, and it was the most amazing 12 weeks of our lives, me and my trainer. We both 3 days a week. So by 12 weeks, we ended up losing, I think, 7.5 kilos for him.
Wow, that's crazy.
And don't forget, see, he was blind.
Yeah.
And whatever I was giving him, he couldn't see, but he could smell, he could feel, and he trusted us. That's the whole thing. So we were putting sleds on the back of his his wheelchair, and he was pushing like 40 kilos with his upper body. And this was a 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
God bless him. He's still around. I still talk to his carers and that. The beauty about it was, Josh, the feeling he got when we told him, like I said, he couldn't see the results, but his carer was sharing his results for us. And you had to follow all these protocols with his doctors and surgeons because he's got a very bad condition. The feeling that in his voice when I told him you've lost 7.5 kilos was the most amazing memory of my life. And I still, to this day, this happened about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And to this day, I never, ever forget it. I really don't. We were doing things to him that he thought, man, I should have done this years ago, but it wasn't around as much, He was in hospital, out of home, in and out for 35 plus years of his life. Not easy. So that was my memory of Ignite. Great feeling.
Nah, man, that actually truly inspires me, man. Like, that inspires me to continue to do what I do, and even just be grateful for, me. Yeah. I'm all good, and you've got people out there that, are. Yeah, like they're probably still in a good position, but they don't have the ability to do the things that we do. And so, I hope that was an encouragement for all the listeners out there. But yeah, man, like I'm truly thankful that you shared about that being your memory. And man, I reckon it takes a lot. It takes a lot. People don't realize that it takes a lot to be a trainer, but more importantly, like when you run their own business. And with that, man, I wanted to ask you, was there actually
Josh,
a time?
Give me one sec. Give me one sec.
Yeah. That's all
I'm
right.
coming.
That's all right. All right, guys. So we have just. You all good?
Hey, I'm back. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you, man. I can see you. Nah, it's all good. It's all good. All right, so knowing that was your favorite memory. Now I want to try and get into, some of the tough times, the times where, you felt out of line, because I know for sure when you start something, there's usually a point where, things start to die down, a bit of excitement starts to, go back down, and then it just becomes like bleh, like I'm just doing this on a constant basis. So, I wanted to ask, man, was there ever a time where you wanted to let it go?
Was there ever a time I wanted to let things go?
Yeah, so let Ignite go. During you being a trainer, and if there was, what made you stick through?
There was a time just before I opened the centre. I remember I was leaving the scout hall, and I was heading into different pastures. And then I said to myself, the whole hourly thing, the way this whole training thing is with your work times and not seeing enough of your family, like, is it really worth it? Is it really worth me continuing this career knowing that this is going to be me for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Starting at 6, finishing at 10, doing it forever, keep listening and keep the chatter in my head with different people's opinions. And some people they just want to come and they want to be a loudmouth in the when you set your program, you always get those 1 or 2 people who think they know more or they want to know more. So you get them everything. You just got to know how to deal with them. Like, you got to let them go a bit. And then I started thinking, honestly, like, is this what it is? Because it's not all that really. If it's going to be like this, I might as well just go get a 9 to 5 job and just stick with it. Come home, see the kids and that. So that would have been in 2015. I thought I'm out.
Yeah.
Over and out. It's done for me. I've had enough. I did my best. See you later. What stopped me from stopping right then and there and continuing was what was inside me.
Yeah.
Was that passion that just keep, and you know me from a long time, that passion to keep driving forward, don't stop. There's people out there relying on you. They are relying on you to help them. That help factor was what made me continue for another 3 or 4 years. That was it. That I had clients from day one, from 2007. These guys have never left me. They've always been there. They've paid. They've worn my shirts. They've tagged me on their social medias, and I'll walk away now. I'm walking away from these guys who have been there, rain, hail, or shine. Do I want to be that guy, knowing that guy that walked away from him, or walk away a bit later when you've retired, had enough? Thank you very much for everything. So that was about 2015, and thank God I continued because, again, you learn to. That was a hurdle for me mentally. How do I get over it? Shut out that's going to be long hours for another 3-4 years. Shut out that's going to be tough, that you're going to hear more problems, and push through it. And I did. And I just went straight through, got the centre for another 3-4 years before I called it time. I called it time this time. I had enough. So that was it. Yeah.
No, I love it, man. I love how you shared that, because I think a lot of people, like, when they start something, whether you're starting your own business, whether you're starting to become a PT, whatever you do, whatever you start in, like, people don't realize that sometimes, like, you have your honeymoon stage and then, bro, it just goes back to normal. Like, and you got to try and figure out the willpower. Yeah.
I want to say something, Josh, about PTs and trainers.
Yep.
We are the leading industry in the world for turnover. So trainers don't last. In the stats, they don't last. They probably go to a PT job for about a month and they leave it because it doesn't sustain.
Yeah, wow.
They don't see the money income they can see if they're on a job site or driving a truck or something, or a weekly, so they won't stick with it. So they rely on their PTs. But if a PT cancels, they only pay you $20 or $15. You still got to pay your rent.
Yeah.
Because they're such a young age coming through the PTs, because the courses are everywhere. You do them online, in 3 months you got your PT course.
Yeah.
And people don't further their education. They'll stick to Cert 3. They'll pay about $300-400. They'll go do that, but they haven't learnt much because they get thrown in the deep end.
Yeah.
And who gets you? It's the client that finds you out. Yeah. Especially if you're a young fella or a young lady, they'll find you out if you're being a bit shy. They can't. People want to be pushed. And I think what I had on people and a lot of the older trainers, we had experience of life before. Yeah. Yep. I could handle a lot of the older fellas and ladies because I was an older trainer.
Yeah.
I could understand you. I've been there, and that's why it was easy for them to communicate.
Yeah.
And that's the key. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I appreciate you sharing that, because I know that there's people out there that are wanting to start, they're wanting to get into the PT. I've got some mates that are telling me that they're keen on getting into that space. And so my question to you now is, what's an encouragement that you can give to the PTs out there, especially going through, I'll ask the first question being, what's an encouragement that you can give to those that are wanting to become PTs? And then the second question would be an encouragement for those that are PTs now, and they're going through, the coronavirus lockdowns and they're not having much clients. Is there something that you can, bring a hold of that?
Yeah. So first question I'll answer is, for the ones who are inspiring to become a PT.
Yeah.
You got to understand this. You got to do it firstly for the right reason.
Very good.
For the right reason. Forget about the money for a sec. You got to fit in with the whole, because we're all students of the game.
Yeah.
You've got to understand what you want out of it. Are you there to help people? Do you love helping people?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, look at it. It's what it is. It's a help thing. You're helping people achieve their goals. Simple as that. Are you passionate enough to get up in the morning, 5:30 a.m., put your gear in the truck or the car, go train that person at 6 a.m. who's going to be grumpy, who's just probably suffering something? Have you got what it takes to make it a smooth session? So you got to sacrifice all your pride. You might be a grumpy old man. You got to sacrifice. You got to put that you got to put that aside when it comes to training, because that person can see straight through you.
Yeah.
He's paying you the dollar. She's paying you the dollar to get her reward, her happiness, her hour out of you. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And if you can't honestly find, it won't happen, because then you'll be struggling every day to understand what it is. And here's the thing. You study it. You know, you just don't realize you're a footy player or a soccer player or a basketball player that you're going to be a good PT. It doesn't work like, hey, I only played park footy for 1 year.
Yeah.
I only played park footy, but I fell in love with sport. And you knew me, Josh, a while ago. It doesn't mean because you're good at sport, you're going to be a good trainer. You got to work at it. You got to follow the pros and the cons of it. I've been a Cert 3, 4 diploma into an exercise and sports science degree. So you got to understand all that. Okay, because I get a lot of young kids ask me, I played 4 years under the Para system or the Penrith system. I reckon I'll just train my clients how the S&Cs train me at Penrith or Para. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. These guys that you're training aren't footy players. Yeah. They're clients. They're normal people. You can't train, for example, a 100-kilo man. You can't condition him the way you conditioned that Parramatta straight away.
Yeah.
You got to know. You got to understand the pros and the cons of it. You got to ease your way into it. So that's my way of saying to you guys, learn it properly.
Yeah.
Understand what it's about. Communication, Josh. I keep saying, you trainers out there, you got to know how to communicate.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready. I see a lot. People rock up at a park. The trainers rock up the same time as the clients. How does that work?
Yeah.
I'd be there 45 minutes before each session. 45. Yeah. I have my board ready. I have my things set out. So when I get there, I'm like this, folded arms, ready to go. Got to be like a commando, ready for them. When they see that, the clients, they're like, wow, he is so professional. We ain't going. It's like for me for 10 years, which I enjoyed. People say to me, you're crazy, man. Just get up there 15 minutes early. I go, no, that's you. That's you 15 minutes. I'm there 45 minutes because I want to make it the best session possible. That's it. Because I was actually going to do a few things about the whole coronavirus and what a trainer's going through at the moment, because all their lockdowns at gyms, which unfortunately I've got a lot of friends who are going through that at the moment. My wife, she's here. So she works at Body Fit Auburn. Yeah. They're the biggest gym, one of the biggest gyms in the bunch. But what they've done, which is pretty much impressive, to keep their business going with their clients, is they've done online training. So they'll set up the program online. They'll Zoom all their clients who want to train. They'll set up a program, and all the clients will do it whilst the coach is watching them. And he can still motivate them, and he can still tell them, talk to them, which is it's an amazing tool. It's an amazing tool. I guess for the trainers themselves, it's a time to get away and probably pull back a bit, get their own training in, because, Josh, this is another thing, and I love talking about this quickly.
Yep.
I found it very hard when I was a coach to train myself because I was so into session after session after session. I actually put on a couple of kilos because I just couldn't get it in. You're buggered by the time you get to your last session, and you just forget about you. It's all about them. So it's a good time for the trainers now with this coronavirus. This may sound funny, to get in a bit of training themselves, kick back their mental. You know, it's been a tough year for them last couple of 3, 4, 5 years. Maybe just kick back and, relax a bit, family time. Get that back now while we've got it, because when this is uplifted, it's going to be back to normal. Josh, where's it going to go?
Yeah.
People are going to be flooding in more, and I hope they see thousands and thousands of people coming to their gyms again, because what's happening now, it's pretty tough, man, for everyone at the moment. So that's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And like for me, I always see people's opinions valuable. And I think it's just the way people take it. Like, you know, I feel like, you know, the PTs that are really keen on this, like that are, you know, still wanting to learn, that are coachable. Like I see them, they'll take this advice like to a high. But yeah, man, I also want to say thank you for sharing about that.
Okay, I just want to jump in, just back to the PTs quickly.
Yep.
Like, jump in and do a 6-week free course. Like, keep upskilling yourself. Like, for example, University of England have come out with a 6-week free course of science behind weight loss. I'm doing it. It's for free. Why not? I'm not doing nothing now, so I might as well keep upskilling, because weight loss is training. No food, no training. No training, no food. Like, get what I'm saying? It works hand in hand. You need it. Yes, that's a good idea. A lot of upskilling education at the moment is going through the roof, and they should really continue that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just an encouragement for all those out there that are doing PT. You know, see this as an opportunity. This is your opportunity right now. Upskill yourself, and like that's something that that I've learned. Like, I'm doing so much now. I'm probably doing more now than ever because I have the time.
Yeah, good on ya.
And I have the space, and so. Yeah, like that's just an encouragement for all those listening out there. So man, like I love how you shared about Ignite Boxing. If you guys are ever interested, I'll leave in the link down below for those that are watching the YouTube video. You know, to put it down, you know, follow them, and if you're listening, just check out our Instagram. We'll make sure that we plug them in for that. So. Yeah, so we're gonna wrap that up. We're gonna wrap that topic up, and we're actually going to get into this this next topic that we're gonna talk about. But what I want to do is I'm actually gonna tell people this is something that I've written down, and like I've taken time out to write this down, because like I honor and I value this man that you guys are watching, this special guest that we have on the Impact Podcast show. And so I've actually got a spiel that I want to share to you all before we get into the actual topic. So last year, December 17th, 2019, Emile Isaac, the person that we're watching right now, was diagnosed with aggressive, is it follicular? Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Lymphoma? Yeah.
I can hear you, man.
Yeah, sweet. Which is, in other terms, blood cancer. And he's a husband and a father of 4 beautiful children. And, you know, this was something that Milzy was not expecting. He wasn't expecting this, especially at the age that he's at right now. And, you know, really being a father, really being a family first man. His family and loved ones were one of you know, those who, you know, he started to think about during the time. And so on behalf of, you know, the Impact Podcast show team, we want to take this time out to say thank you for like allowing us to, you know, have a chat with you and share about your journey. Because if you guys don't realize, he's going through the journey right now, you know, being diagnosed with cancer. Because lately I've been looking around, people usually, you know, wait till they overcome, you know, their cancer journey, and then they, you know, talk about the testimony. Whereas at the moment now, like, Milzy's actually sharing it whilst he's in it. And man, I was going to say, like, I got mad honor for you, and this is something that I wanted to do for you. I want to, you know, do the best that I can to support you. And I'm looking longevity. I'm not looking, you know, I don't want to just give money and then you're all sorted. Like, I want to, you know, invest a lot more, because you invested a lot in me. And so, yeah, I just want to take this time out and say thank you for jumping on and, you know, being willing to share your story, especially whilst going through the journey of going through chemo and all the stages that you're going through. So, yeah, so guys, we're actually going to be getting into our next topic, which is we're going to talk about Emile Isaac's, you know, cancer journey. And so please be sure, guys, to take a lot of input in this, because this is something that I'm really wanting to have a chat with Milzy. So are you keen, man? I'm pretty keen, man. I'm pretty keen for you to share your story, man. Mate.
No worries.
All right.
Just firstly, just firstly, I just want to let you know and let your viewers and friends know that it was a pleasure for me to train you and guide you. And that, don't ever think that I ever thought any other way.
Yep.
The money was never there. It was just the passion that I had for you as a group. And then obviously as a group, I picked the individuals that I thought that, they're going to have something in their career one day. And if I'm always going to be a part of that, well, I'm very grateful from me. So from me to you, I'm saying thank you as well. Take it away, buddy.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Feeling the love, man. Feeling the love.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. So, firstly, do you want to touch base briefly on the type of cancer that you have, just for those that are listening?
Yeah. So the type of cancer is it's a follicular lymphoma.
Yep.
So it's cancer in your lymph nodes. Those lymph nodes that fight off infections, and you start to become a doctor because you read so much about it.
Yeah.
And that's all it is, man. So they're tumours at the moment, riddled around my body, so my neck. Usually, you get lumps in your neck, and they end up in your armpit and chest and pelvis and so on, because they're all over our body. We've all got lymph nodes, Josh. There's over 600 of them.
Yeah.
And I was just a bit unfortunate that the lumps became tumours and cancers, and I'm in the midst of treatment as we speak. So that's what they are, mate. I'm in a battle, but willing to fight as much as I can, man, and come out the other side. So. Yeah.
No, it's really good, man. It's really good that you're sharing that. I wanted to ask about the process. Could you share to us a bit about the process? So when you found out December 17th, 2019, when you found out the news that you got, can you share to us a bit about what was the process?
So funny enough, on my birthday, it was the 7th actually of December, and I was with my wife and the family at Parramatta, and I saw this lump. I felt the lump a while ago, but it just got bigger and bigger, and this thing was like a ball, like an apple. And I thought I'd go up to the massage centre up at Parramatta, level 5, and just get it. I thought it was just a swollen, I don't know, pulled muscle or something.
Yeah.
And he didn't let me in. He just looked at it and said, "No, I can't touch that. You got to go go to a doctor." And that's it. It started from there. I went to a doctor down at Delwood, my local doctor. He had one look at it. He goes, "You're going to need an ultrasound." Okay, he goes, that looks pretty nasty. And went to an ultrasound, came back. The specialist at Westmead, they said, "Nah, we're going to need a biopsy." And a biopsy is a core needle, so they can drain it and see what it is. So I've done that, and it wasn't good enough for him, so they wanted to go deeper. So the second time came around, went and done a second biopsy. They pulled it out, tested it. When I got my results from my local doctor, he called me in. I was sitting in the room. I sort of knew, honestly, I was sort of prepared in a way where I thought, I'm going to take it either way here. Good news is good news. Bad news, well, take it how it comes, He sat me down and he said, he didn't know much about the cancer, but he said it was cancer.
Yeah.
He said, "You have a cancer, according to my report. It's called follicular." He said to me, "I don't know exactly what it is. I'm not a specialist in hematology. I'm going to put you to Westmead, and they'll take you off our books, and now you deal with them." So it all happened like the feeling I got in the room with my local doctor was I was by myself.
Yeah.
And I thought I was just dazed. I was dazed for about 5 minutes, I reckon, just in my chair slumped, like no tears, just more like shaking my head, like what? Just like that. Cancer, bang. Stopped me right, bang. And then the rest is history, man. Just that same day, they sent me out to Westmead, more tests and more CT scans and blah, blah, blah. And then I got the hematologist, Dr. Chris Marr, said your chemotherapy, which firstly they diagnosed you with the stage. So I was a stage 3B. Yep. It's aggressive because the aggressive cancer is anywhere above and below the diaphragm of your body. So I've got them in my neck, I've got them in my pelvis and things like that. So that's what they classify aggressive. If it wasn't aggressive, it'll only be in your neck. Anyway, he set up a time for starting treatment, chemo, which I started in, I can't remember now, on my second cycle. So I started about a month ago. I'm going to tell you this. The first day I walked into treatment day, which is the chemo room, they call it the cancer room, where you walk in, it's about 150 square metre room. There's about 40 chairs, just recliner chairs. You got all different people on a chair, and they all got different cancers, from breast cancer, lung cancer, non-Hodgkin's, and the works. If in all my life I can tell your viewers and people that are listening, if anyone, when I walked in there and I just had a pause and I looked around, that got me more than getting diagnosed for cancer.
Yeah.
If I looked at people in the eyes as I walked in, because I don't know what to expect. This is new for me.
Yeah.
And they had my room. See, on the first day, they put you in a room separately from everyone because it's an 8-hour day, Josh. An 8-hour day of infusions. And they're worried about how you're going to react, your reactions, your side effects. You might get taken up to emergency. They don't know. I looked around and I thought, far out, this is real. This is happening to me. I'm a chemotherapy. I'm a cancer patient now, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
That day was the toughest day of my life in the fact that it was just a long day and never liked needles. And I haven't been to a medical centre since 2009. That was the last time I went to a doctor, 2009. Here I am fighting for something that's worth fighting for, you know. But I got through it. Don't ask me how. I got through the whole 8 hours. I had no reactions, no side effects. Nurses were great. Doctors were great. And, mate, I finished cycle 1. I finished cycle 2 on Friday. Now I've got a 28-day break before I start cycle 3. There's 6 cycles in total. And hopefully we do a scan in between and see if they're shrinking or not. But they are. They're shrinking. I can feel them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't feel them as much as I used to. So, yeah, that was a process, man. I'm in it now.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy how you shared that, because, like, I'm already getting touched. Like, I already feel like I'm already in that. You know, I feel like I'm in your shoes right now, and like I don't like, you know, God forbid that I get to that stage, but like these are things that we gotta get, you know, prepared for. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
We don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. We don't know what's gonna happen in the next few years, and so like I'm just listening to your story, man. Like I'm like touched. Like I'm actually touched by your story.
Look, I'll be honest with you. Some people, and I don't take nothing away from anyone who's gone through cancer, going through a sickness, and how they deal with it. Everyone deals with it differently. You got to understand that. You know me. I'm an outspoken guy. I like to share things in means and that. My journey of this was going to be my journey. Now, I told you this. I could have done this either way.
Yeah.
Get diagnosed, cop it on the chin, sit at home and cry every single day until treatment. Yeah? That's A.
Yeah.
Look at the 4 walls, talk to them, let them bounce information off me, negative stuff. Let negative stuff hit my head. Then I'll start banging myself against the wall. Or go to B, talk about it, share, ask people. Man, I'm onto groups now. I've got family groups, as in follicular groups from Facebook, who shared their experience to me, who have prepared me. They've prepared me for this without people knowing. A private chat from Westmead, where 1,000 people are suffering from follicular lymphoma, what I've got. So it's specific to what I'm going through. I didn't call someone with diabetes to tell me what they've got, because that's diabetes.
Yeah.
I've got cancer. I've got a different battle. Do you know where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
I started talking to people who are positive and what they think I should do, because this is all new. And like I said to you, I'm not taking – people can deal with this separately. They can be private for as much as they want about it. I still respect them because they're still going through it. So that's their battle. My battle is to open up, or it will defeat me. I know a lot of things defeat me because I know who I am. No one knows who I am but me.
Yeah.
No one's in my shoes. I'm in my shoes. And I feel so good about this that even the nurses and the doctors are saying, man, you're looking good every single day. You're not losing the weight you're supposed to be losing for this. You actually put on a bit of weight, which is good. Yeah. And I feel like every infusion is normal to me now. I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't had any of these nausea, vomiting, fevers that they're actually expecting it to happen, but it hasn't happened to me yet. Knock on wood. So the mental battle for me was prepared before I got in the room.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, and I love how you specifically mentioned the mental, like your mental, like you had the mental toughness. You're mentally prepared, because it's funny you say that, because like I don't want to touch base on this too much, but I was doing some studies on people committing suicide, right? And some of that stuff, right? I'm not going to touch base on it that much, but I just want to share a bit. Some of the stuff that some of the people have actually committing the suicide, like committing suicide and getting rid of their life. It's all the mental battle that they're facing. It's not the actual act of like, oh, I'm just gonna kill myself, but it was actually the fact that mentally they've been mentally psyched out for a long period of time. You can't just do it
Absolutely.
straight away.
No.
You know, it's something that they've been building on for so long. And so the reason why I wanted to share that was because the way that you're handling this, the way that you're handling, you know, the cancer battle that you're facing, you're literally seeing it as an opportunity. Like, how many, like, I'm looking at it right now from December the 17th of 2019 to now. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm seeing so much energy. I'm seeing so much enthusiasm from Milzy. Whereas there's a lot of people out there that can see this as a burden. Like they would see this as an excuse or some sort of a reason for them to be like, you know what, stuff life. And man, honestly, like I'm so happy that I'm interviewing now. Like I'm interviewing you right now. So then that this can impact other people. And that's the whole purpose of this podcast show. It's looking at ways to impact. So now I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired by what you're sharing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Josh, we got doctors, We got doctors. So they put you in the right direction. And I was just speaking to my doctor on Friday before I finished treatment. I said, Doc, how serious is it for us cancer patients with this coronavirus? Because I know that I read a lot and you guys keep on publishing things about, man, if anything can kill you right now, it's gonna be the coronavirus. So we got to stay away. Because I was funny, I was asking the doctor, I hate staying home. I want to get back into work. And he literally ruled me out in like 2 seconds. He goes, you ain't doing nothing. He goes, if there wasn't a coronavirus, I would sign you off now to go work within the 28 days before your next treatment, no problem. But you've got to follow the protocols. He goes, what you're doing so far is great. But for me, he said to me, to sign you off a form right now and say, go back to work, I'm giving you a death sentence, really.
Yeah.
Because it's that full on. So what I'm trying to say is, all right, I've been ruled out of work, which work for me is to get out. You get out, man. You can't stay. How much can you stay at home? But now we're all in this now. So I'm treating it like everyone in Sydney, Australia, the world, we're all in this, Josh. We're all locked up at home. We can barely just bare essentials come home. Yeah. So I've treated this, okay, I've got cancer, but look at everyone else now. Everyone's stopped their work or limited their jobs, incomes, and so on. Now let's see, everyone's getting tested now up here now. They're getting tested spiritually. They're getting tested mentally and so on. And you want to talk about depression? This is what causes depression indoors. Yeah. Looking at four walls, not having an answer. Not even the governments have an answer for it. So how are we going to have it? So we've got to keep ourselves occupied, train up, go have a little session outside, eat well, read. Don't let nothing, meditate if you have to. I don't care. But don't let the walls eat you apart. Yeah. Can you imagine me, and I told you this, can you imagine Emile Isaac that you've known for a while, sit down in my kitchen or sit down in my bedroom and do nothing? But just sit down on the walls. Those walls are devil. I'm going to tell your listeners right here, right now. Those walls are called devils. Yeah. Those walls come back at you 100 miles an hour of negativity because it's all dark. It's all dark. If you open the windows, what do you see, Josh? You see light. You see hope. You see hope. You see your friends. You see family. You see birds. That's how I've looked at it with this cancer journey, and that's how I'll remain looking at it. And no one's going to stop me but me. Simple as that. When I give up, the cancer journey's over. And it's not an option. As Robbie Farah was telling me, I was telling you before, Robbie Farah says to me, I promise him one thing, don't walk, run. That's his attitude for me. Run through this. No walking, Milzy. And I've taken that right through. A lot of my mates and family have been like that with me as well. Keep running.
No, I love it, man. I love the passion. I love the enthusiasm because I think that's another thing that brings this all out in yourself is that, man, you're a very outgoing guy, outspoken, very always energized. And I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at, you know, the things that you invested in, like your family and, you know, Ignite Boxing and investing in other people, strength and conditioning coach, you know, in the footy. All this thing is all who you are, and it's created you the man that you are today. And I'm looking at it now. I'm like, I can see Milzy attacking this. I can see him like overcoming it, and it's cool because you already believe that in yourself, and you've already made that decision within yourself to say, I'm not going to let this go. I'm going to keep fighting it, and I'm going to fight until I beat it. And I feel like that's a real encouragement for all those out there that, you probably don't have cancer, you probably don't have any disease, but I'm talking like mentally. Like the mental game that you're saying, you're probably stuck at home right now, and you're probably saying to yourself, or I can't do anything, or I can't go to the gym because the gym's closed, or I can't do any work. I can't do any work because I'm not at work. It's like,
Yeah.
don't. The way I see it for me, especially for the gym, because obviously I was going to gym constantly, and the past month for me has probably been like the most like. For me, it's probably been the best thing that's happened, because I had to be more creative. I had to look at other avenues to stay fit, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, nah, I want to bring the gym to me. I want to be the gym in my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the gym instead of me going to the gym to make the gym help me. I'm going to bring the gym home, and I'm going to be the gym myself. And I think that's powerful for everyone out there right now that are feeling fearful, that are feeling like, I can't do anything. Listen to the story. Listen to the story that Milzy's going through. Like, yeah, like you probably don't have cancer, but these are stories that can encourage you and really push you out there.
Josh, you don't have to have a cancer to go through all this.
No, legit.
This to me was my wake-up call, if anything.
Yeah.
This was for me, from my Lord, from my Jesus, my Savior, to say, that lump on my neck was to slow the hell down and think about what you're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
Everything was 100 miles an hour in our lives. Being Lebanese, and your culture is not far.
Oh, yeah, legit.
Ours. We're all
Legit.
about family. We're all about judgmental stuff. Like, if you're not a builder, you're nothing. If you're not a plumber, you're not this. Yeah, everyone's got a view on you, But hang on, I want to be a trainer. Well, what's a trainer earn? Come on. And this is life. You get judged by things that you want to become by other people, because maybe their son's a builder or an engineer or a lawyer or a doctor, but you found yourself falling in love with the training side of it, helping people, motivating people, but you get put down on a pedestal because you're not earning that 300-400K a year, but you could be earning 50, 60, 70K, but happy with what you're doing. What's wrong with that? I've always said to my kids, you might not be the smartest in the class, you might not be the brightest or the most, but you know what? Find something that you love and go chase it.
Yeah.
And don't wait for someone else to chase it for you. And that's me. I became a truck driver because I saw my uncles do it and my dad did it for such a long time. And being a young Lebanese boy, I'd go with him on the weekends, jump in my dad's passenger. I saw the gears change. Oh, I can do this. My dad was showing me, this is money. You get good money. I did it for a while. I didn't say I hated it, but I couldn't see me do it forever.
Yeah.
I fell in love with falling in love with helping people, at a young age. And that's what it was about for me. Mate, I've got a roof over my head. I've got a car. Well, what's no problem. I'm happy. This has just come about at a time where he put it on me, and I'm going to carry it for him, and I'm going to work what I've got, and I'm going to get better. I'm going to move forward. Everyone out there, I'm telling you now, look at obesity, look at diabetes, look at heart conditions. The rate they're dying is more than what cancer is.
Yeah.
Obesity and heart conditions are the top two killers. So don't look at cancer. But see, this thing, everyone looks at cancer as a death sentence because it's the word cancer scares you. Cancer is an ugly word when you hear it. I call it a disease. And back to my condition. Listen to this, your viewers. You want to listen to more depth. They haven't found the cure for me yet for our condition. So we've got to live with it like a diabetes if we get through it. But I can live with this for the next 25, 30 years if I choose to. If I don't abuse my body after I get cleared in that. But there's no cure for follicular lymphoma. There's only maintenance. So I'll have it in me until they find it, and they're not far off, but I've got to live with that terminology. As the doctor tells you, the specialist, your success rate of beating this will probably be 80 to 88% because you're a young guy, you're fairly healthy, your bloods are good, but unfortunately it's not like lymphoma where it's curable or maybe a lung cancer that has got a cure if you can get through it. We haven't. Yeah. So they treat ours like a disease. So if I beat this, they'll give me a maintenance program for 2 years. Hopefully that can, get rid of it. So I'm dealing with it for a long term here. I'm looking at it long-term longevity. It's not, finish these 6 cycles and that's it. Well, something else might come along, Josh. I'm just knocking on wood, but hey, I'm only human. I'm not a robot.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of battles here, man. Like, it's not just, people don't understand. This is why I'm back to talking about these things. This leads to depression. When you don't talk about these things, this leads to suicide. I know friends who have been there, and I know mates have lost their loved ones because of these kind of speed humps in their lives. They can't get through it. And I'm not just talking about medical. I'm talking about little things like marriages and families and work, and they get put off, and they don't know how to let it go and talk to people, go seek help. They'd rather stay in their room and cry. And I'm talking about females and males.
Yeah.
And this is what training and conditioning training and fitness taught me, to listen to people and put them in the right direction so they can go get help. Yeah, this is what it's about. You don't know something, maybe someone that you know can help them.
Yeah.
Now, I remember I don't know if you guys remember Mark Booth, who was a strength and conditioning coach. Mate, he was my mentor coming through. I still ask him things to this day about conditioning. He's the head performance now at Manly.
Yeah.
You know, and what's wrong with me asking for advice about a particular weights program I don't know everything, Josh. I'm Milzy, but I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to work? What's going to work? And he can talk to me about my cancer. Like he's like a friend. You need these kind of people in your life. People think differently. People, no, you don't need it. It's private and that. That's for you. You want to be private? Please. I still respect you. I never talk bad about you. But don't ever judge me because you're not in my shoes. You don't know what I've got at home. You don't know what I'm going through. And there's no right for anyone to judge. No one can judge but the man upstairs, in my opinion. All right? And that's it. That's Emile's journey in that sense. Yeah.
No, it's really good. It's really good. And so just to wrap up this conversation about, your cancer journey, like I'm truly inspired and, I encourage everyone out there, like just really, really let this story sink in and take it for what it is. Like, he's sharing his journey and, all this, the whole thing about the Impact Podcast Show is all about impacting. And that's my job. That's the role that I want to do. I want to get stories out there so then people can get empowered and inspired to, take the next step. And so, Milzy, to wrap the cancer journey up, is there any encouragement that you have inside of your heart that you want to share, share to the people?
Look, my biggest thing with this journey that I've learned, and I'm still battling it, no matter what bad news you ever get in your life, whether it be medical, family, money, work, you choose two things. You either get knocked down, stay on the ground. But can I ask you something? That ground is not going to move unless you open it up and fall in it.
Yeah.
Stay there. What are you going to achieve? You're going to cry for an hour, two, let out all your emotions, or just stand back up, take a big deep breath, go for a walk, and stand up and fight. Fight for what you want. Simple as that. If you don't want it, dig yourself a grave and put yourself in it. That's where you want to go.
Yeah.
If you want to really believe that you want to keep moving forward, take the battle, take the hit, and keep going, man, because it's the only way. Ask for advice. I'm telling you, ask for advice. It's the best feeling when you have friends. Share it. Talk about it. It's okay. No one will judge. They'll judge you for a day, maybe. A day. People judge you for no more than a day, then they'll move on to something else. But these people you don't want in your life, you don't worry about them. You move on because they'll still be there for you anyway.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. They'll still be there for you. All right? That's my advice to all you people out there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. But so we're just gonna finish off with that. I'm keen to do a lot more with your cancer journey because I truly believe that'll really inspire people. But yeah, we're just gonna slowly wrap up our talk. But the last thing I want to do is I want to take a step away from Ignite Boxing and take a step away from your cancer journey and focus on something that I've made the decision on really setting the platform for the Impact Podcast Show. So for all those that are watching, one thing I'm really passionate about is personal development and looking at ways to grow in whatever you want to do, whether you want to become a businessman and get up the ranks and become a CEO, or if you're just wanting to be a personal trainer. The whole purpose of the Impact Podcast Show is to look at ways to become better. That's pretty much the main area. And so, Milzy, from your experience and from you being, an Ignite Boxing, founder, the main trainer, and then looking at your journey now as a cancer patient, and I'm going to say this, a cancer survivor, right? What are your views on personal development? What's your take on it?
To be whatever you want to be, doesn't matter what industry, I thought stability is a big thing. got to stabilize yourself in a job that you want to achieve more in. Like if you want to step up the ladder. Okay, let's talk about me as a trainer. So I worked 3, 4, maybe 10 hours at a Leichhardt gym, traveling from Granville to Leichhardt every day. And guess what I was doing? I was getting paid $16 an hour. And guess how old I was? 33, 34 years old, something like that. But my thing was, I need to learn. I need to learn more how to be around people, how to talk to people, how to be kind, how to give my opinions where it's needed, not to jump in too much. So I was watching and listening all the other extraordinary trainers down there because they were all older. And that's why I picked that gym. Yeah. Stability, communication, learning, continuous learning, and ask for advice. Don't ever assume. In a business, don't ever assume something's going to happen for the sake of it. Yeah, I'll do it. No, if you're not sure, you're not 100% sure about that person doing that right squat or that right deadlift or that overhead lunge, and you know someone that knows just a bit more better that might reduce their risk of injury, guess what? Cast an eye over them and say, what do you reckon? Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that experienced guy or girl will tell you, nah, probably back off the weight or go broomstick before you put a bar on. Things like that. So you got to know that. You got to, and don't be look. Biggest thing people get ashamed and their pride gets in the way. Their pride gets in the way that guy might think back to Mark Booth. Why would I? If my pride was so big, and I don't ask a guy he's nearly got a PhD in exercise science, but no, he's got so much knowledge. Why wouldn't I use it? Why wouldn't I use it and ask him? Was why my pride's going to get in the way that he might think I'm a dope or an uneducated fool? No, he never once said to me, "You're an idiot." He said, "Yeah, this is what you should be doing. Learn for next time." That's it. Shake hands and you move on. Yeah. So ask for an educated opinion that can help you develop them and yourself. All right. And the other part was, what was the other part, Josh, that you were talking about with the second part of the question?
So we're talking about personal development. Yeah. And you know, what's your views on it? Like what do you see in personal development? Like, do you see it as helpful? Like, you know, what's the importance of personal development?
Look, I want to give you an example, I guess. I walked into Parramatta in 2000 after I came from West Sydney Academy, right? So I was known as that trainer that came from the West Sydney Academy, which wasn't really a big. When you go against the Parra Eel emblem and the Penrith Panthers and the St George Dragons and the Balmain Tigers, well, I had a lot to live up to going into that system where all the trainers were there for 4 or 5 years already, and here was this guy coming from there. How's I going to adapt? How's I going to adapt? A lot of these guys got university qualifications with them. And I've only come in with a diploma. Anyway. And this is how I grew, Josh. So I'm going to tell all your listeners out there and the people who want to learn about personal development, I literally shut my mouth for the first year and took my role. My first year, I was an assistant to Mark Booth. So I wasn't the head. And I had to accept that. Mm-hmm. He was there for 2 years before me. So who the hell am I to come and take his role? And he's got a university degree and more. So I shut my mouth, I took my pills and my medicine, and I learned from him to develop myself. And guess what happened? After learning with him, and he was coaching me, and I was asking for advice, and the coaches liked it, and they liked me developing slowly. The next year, I was the head of the Harold Matthews. He moved on to Jersey Flegg. And that's how the development happened. So I stuck with it. Then I ended up his assistant in the under-20s, the NYC. Yeah. So here all of a sudden, Emile was opening the gyms for the NRL boys in the 20s training together. So I started looking at, wow, look how far I've come because I've asked the questions. I've done the hard yards. I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't, my Lebanese pride didn't get in the way. They're going to think you don't know nothing. No, it's all part of the journey, mate. You have to fail to succeed in your questions. Yeah, all of a sudden, I became friends now. Because of all this journey, I ended up training Alex Twal, Nathan Brown, Junior Polo, Sefa, Jerome Luai, Robbie Farah, half the Lebanese squad in the World Cup. Mate, the academy, the swimming academy for 2 years. And that's all came about because I was willing to sacrifice and learn from people who knew better than me at the time. And I can pass this on now, whoever wants to learn to become a great trainer or a great personal trainer, to have no more fears. You might have a bad session the first day, which I did. My first ever session I worked with someone, it was a disgrace. The clients called me a disgrace. It was for my friend who was a physio. He put out a boot camp session. I had 35 people. He didn't warn me. My first day, I didn't know nothing about training. I just finished the course. He put me out in the deep end, and I learned so much. Thank you, Anthony Adira, Buzz, ProFit Physiotherapy. I always talk to him about this because he taught me so much about myself. The clients walked away from that calling me a shit trainer. They literally went, what was that? I said, I was in tears, Josh. I was in tears. I was only a young fella in the young industry, just finished. How do you come back from that? When the clients walked away, given their marks out of 10, and they called me a shit trainer.
Yeah,
but they didn't know. He threw me in the deep end. I didn't even know about it. I had to cover him.
Yeah.
But that was the most, wow, if the learning curve was I'm going to share with your viewers right now, you're going to fail once, you're going to fail twice, you're going to get called names. But when you can overcome that and you find your niche and you find where you belong in the training field and any personal development, no better feeling than walking away when someone taps you on the back and says, you've come a long way, man. You've come a long way. That's better than saying you're a winner. You've come a long way. Because they know where you came from. Your doubts in
legit.
that. That's it. Legit. That's from me. That's all. I'm gonna. I reckon end it like that. Tap on the back, knowing that you've come a long way. Not about victory. It's about you've come a long way because we keep on learning. We don't stop.
Nah, it's really good. It's really good, man. And I'm thankful that you're sharing this because, you're as I said, your opinions matter, and I value you a lot because there's a lot of things that you've done within me, like years ago, that I'm still instilling right now. And so, I guess we're just gonna wrap it up from here. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up, bro?
I want to thank you and the Impact podcast. I want to appreciate you bringing me on. This is the first time for me. First time I ever do an interview. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. And I hope you keep developing as yourself. Don't stop. Follow your dreams. Keep going with your degree. It's going to get tough. If it does get tough, just remember what I told you.
Yes.
Never give up, man. Never, ever give up. And if you ever need anything from my end, well, that we're good friends and you contact me and I'll always be there for you, Josh. No problem. I appreciate your listeners listening to me. And I hope I've given some insight of how to deal with things, especially mentally and physically. That's all. Thank you very much for having me.
No, it's good. It's good. And I know that there's a change.org that you have. Did you want to share a bit about that before we wrap up?
Which one, Josh? What was that?
You have a change.org, like you've got the like a fundraiser happening.
That's all good. Yeah, that's something we'll just let go. I had a GoFund thing where people were helping me out, and I want to thank them. I thank them personally, but can I further my thanks to everyone about that? That was amazing success. I had Step Up Personal Training who came up with a thing. I used to train with these people. A lot of the clients I had at Ignite, I fed them out to Tony Sassine. A big thank you to Tony Sassine at Step Up Personal Training. And a few of the clients approached him and they said they wanted to do something for me because I had them at Ignite for such a long time and they were so young. And Tony jumped on board, and there's like nearly 250 people at the workout or something, just at Holy Family Kids School, and they put it all together, and it was a great success. I had Robbie Farah come down, and just seeing all the old clients and the new clients, and some people I didn't even know who they were, rock up for me because I had a condition and they heard about it, and that was the most amazing day. And I remember getting up on stage and I was speaking, and I've never been rattled in my life. And how I got it out. And it was just the same thing as when Robbie called me up at his 300th testimonial at Leichhardt. He zapped me. I don't even know. He called me up as well to talk about this. And then how I held it together, I just honestly don't know. But just want to say from everyone who's helped me, family, my friends, inner circle, outer circle, and who continue to call me, to say thank you enough is never going to be enough, because I'm still going to need your energy right through this. I know how to battle this now. Just a simple phone call. People want to come and visit me, but they can't. They know they can't because of the virus. FaceTime me, talk to me. I'll always be there to say thank you. Words can't express it, Josh. When you have that much support and that much love around, from my wife to my kids, my mum and dad, my sisters, my in-laws, my wife's family, and the Lebanese, man, it just goes. The branch keeps going. My uncles, my aunties, right into my village. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. My friends from school, man. This is where you get emotional, bro, because you never think it happens, but when you get pumped with so much energy, even the negatives, I can turn it into a positive now. It doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah.
But what I've got, man, is I'm blessed. Not many people have it, I promise you.
Yeah.
So I'm thank you to all you guys out there. I love you all. And if you ever go through something, the first person that's going to be there is going to be Milzy. I can guarantee you this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just want to personally say thank you to Milzy for jumping on board. Man, I love the conversation, man. People are going to get inspired, bro.
Yeah, stay inspired, brother.
No, it's good. And so, yeah, guys, that's all that we've got for the Impact Podcast Show. I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in into the Impact Podcast Show. Thank you, Milzy, once again for jumping on board. We're going to get you back on again, just like everyone else. So yeah, guys, make sure you guys tune into us on Instagram, Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And yeah, we just want to say thank you so much for watching. And we're going to wrap up, and we're going to see you guys in the next one.